Hello friends, it's Mel. Recently I went to Georgia with my mom and we were visiting my 91-year-old great Aunt Mary, my grandmother's sister. So, well, it was kind of an odd situation to vlog the whole thing. I tried to get some video and I wanted to share it with you. And I'll pop in here and there if I need to add context. But it was a really nice trip. I got to hear a lot of stories from my Aunt Mary, and you'll get to hear some of them too. Some of them are really interesting about her family life. There was a story about how she went off and eloped with her husband, who has been gone for since 2002. So she had some lovely stories about him. I wasn't able to catch everything in a recording. I try and sneak and record because she doesn't really understand technology. I tried to show her the family tree on Ancestry a few years back, and she was just so overwhelmed. She has a TV but and a telephone, but that's about it. So I tried not to overwhelm her with technology. So I'd sneak and record videos. Some of them I'd miss the beginning. So, but I wanted to capture as much as I could. A lot of candid stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy.
How pretty. I don't like going through Cincinnati though. How pretty. Oh, shut the front door. You did this to me.
I didn't know.
I don't have any nails.
Yeah, my mom hates tunnels. This is a quick one.
Good. Wow, look at all this. Look at the bridge.
That's pretty cool. Oh, it's like a walking bridge. Look at all the people.
Cool. I don't remember seeing that.
Well, I don't remember going through that tunnel, so I don't think we went this way.
Look at that wavy building. People are crazy. These people are crazy. Driving clear over and cutting back over, and you must want to get home.
Welcome to Kentucky.
There.
There's the GPS. The sign's up here.
There it is. There it is, Mel. Get it.
I see it. I'm getting it.
Tried to let the truck go under the side. Got it?
Yeah.
We're not going that way, right?
No. Welcome to Georgia.
Did you get it?
Oh, I barely got it. We made it to Aunt Mary's, and we ended up spending a lot of time just sitting and talking. So here's some of that.
I went out on that porch looking for it, and guess what I heard a holler that I hadn't heard in years was a hoot owl. Going hoo, hoo. And it's been, me and Benzel was talking about it. I called her and asked her, guess what I heard a holler, and she said a whippoorwill. And I said, no, it was a hoot owl. She said, Lord, Mary, I ain't heard one in years, but we've not heard no whippoorwills a hollering, because I believe the animals and stuff eats their eggs, 'cause they build their nest on the ground. And they must have eat the eggs, destroyed them, and you don't hear none of them. I've seen Mama turn them on their back like that when she'd kill a black snake. She couldn't stand a snake, Lord, and I'm afraid of them.
Oh, I don't want to snake around me. I don't care what's.
No.
I don't even
And
want
these
it
blamed old lizards, and there's some here, if I know what to put out to kill them, I'd put it out. I hate them lizards.
This is when my Aunt Mary starts talking about her husband, Ernest. She starts telling us about how she only spent 2 times alone with him before they got married, and then they ran off and got married together. So it's kind of sweet. I missed the beginning of it, but that's basically what she was talking about, and they had been spending the time together, and here she goes.
He said, what's wrong? I said, you know I've slipped off. And I said, I'm afraid something will happen. And I said, I want to go home. He said, okay. He brought me home. We sat there on the porch about midnight. He left. I'd never been away from home. Daddy and them wouldn't let us.
Yeah.
And he sure didn't want me to marry. Daddy did. He'd say, he knew Ernest, his daddy was, didn't have good mind. And he'd say, what if you have kids and they do like that? I said, well, but if I have kids, Daddy, and something's wrong with them, we do just like other people if they have some. And I slipped off and got married. I went to the highway to catch the bus, to go to Chatsworth, to go to work. So I left Pauline and Irene standing and waiting on the bus. And he drove in the car and picked me up, and we come on to Little William Townsend, right there on one of them curves before you get up to Lovell. And Ernest's mama, well, no, I don't know where his mama was there, but Furman and all of them, Lenore and Inez, all of them was there and saw me get married.
Nobody from your family?
No.
Okay, so for context for this upcoming story, my Aunt Mary is going to be talking about her father-in-law. This man was also my mom's grandfather. As I mentioned earlier, my Aunt Mary married a man named Ernest, and my grandmother married Ernest's brother. So this is the same guy. His name was Henry. He had a history of mental illness. Obviously, back in the 50s and 60s, they didn't, I'm not sure if he had a proper diagnosis or what it was. It was just, I think as my Aunt Mary put it, he was not of right mind. And she alluded to that a little bit in the last story about her dad not wanting her to marry Ernest because he was afraid that the mental illness would pass down to the kids. So she's kind of talking about that a little bit in the next story about how they're afraid of, he was afraid, he was like running from things, he was afraid to stay in one place too long, etc., etc. So that's some context for this story.
They rented. In one house, they wouldn't stay too long. Henry was bad, and he'd get mad, and he'd just load that stuff up and go anywhere he could rent.
Maybe they moved around a lot.
Yes, they did, and that's where Furman took his at. Furman wouldn't stay nowhere. He had 3 houses built and moved out of every one and lost every one of them.
Furman is another one of Ernest's brothers. After spending a lot of time just kind of sitting and talking, we went to visit my mom's parents' graves, as well as Ernest and my mom's dad's parents. And then we went over to my Aunt Mary's husband's and a lot of her family's graves. Another cemetery in the middle of the mountain. It's pretty cool. I suppose it's kind of creepy, but down south they're big on keeping care of the cemeteries and visiting. It's kind of nice. Here is my Aunt Mary's husband Ernest's grave. There's, her name's on there too, but she loves coming and taking care of it and talking to him. It's real sweet. Here's another story that I missed the beginning of, but basically there was a fire that burnt down my Aunt Mary's parents' house, so she's kind of talking about that story here.
And Daddy never seen a well day after that. Had to take his leg off. Oh,
What happened? That he had to lose his leg? Didn't he have sugar or something?
he's a diabetic.
Oh.
And after the house burned, it upset him so. See, they were building the new house beside the old one and had part of the things already put in the new house to move in it. Well, it burnt both of them, burned everything. All the money they had, they put it in here, the new house. They had nothing, just a cow and a mule. Or maybe they had 2 cows. I don't remember. I know they had the one mule that Daddy plowed the garden and stuff with.
Were you still living there? Or were you gone?
No, I'd been married about 3 years. Well, that was in 51 when the house burnt, and I married in 46. I'd been married about 5 years.
Yeah.
And it burnt one Sunday morning. And we wasn't living here, we was living down there on the side of the road. That was before we started building this. And I looked out the kitchen window. It was just a straight room we lived in. They built the bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen, but it was just a straight room like this, no porch, no nothing. And I said, Ernest, there comes Daddy. It was late in the evening. And I said, something's wrong. And when Daddy come up, I said, Daddy, what's wrong? He went to crying. He said, Sis, we've lost our home. And so Ernest went down to Gordon's house and asked them, could he drive the truck and carry Daddy home? And I got what I could. Ernest had something like a robe that they had they'd wear and tied around, when they was catching chickens to keep chicken manure and stuff off of it. Well, I took latch pins, put in that, and carried that with me for Mama to put on her to wear till people went to bringing in her some clothes and riding with her. And I can't never remember. I reckon people brought clothes in for Lorraine. I don't remember what I fixed to carry for her to wear, cause she was 5 years old when I married, and she was small. And Lord, that was a rough time. And Mama done her cooking out there in the yard on some rocks. Mama had a hard time, but she never give up. She wouldn't complain much. That left hand, she'd always do.
She left-handed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's neat.
I couldn't learn nothing after her. None of us girls, there wasn't none of us left-handed. She crocheted left-handed, sewed left-handed, everything she done, she's left-handed.
And there were nobody else in the family left-handed.
No, they sure wasn't. But she sewed left-handed. She'd sit with that crochet and needling at night, crocheting, sit there with her snuff and spit in the fireplace and all.
Next story is about when my Aunt Mary found out that her mom died. I don't remember what she was talking about before this, but this is kind of where I started recording and piped in. So you'll get the clues pretty quickly. That's what she's talking about. But just so it's not confusing, that's what this one's about.
When I got to work at the shoe plant, Mama had moved then at Dalton, and I would call every morning as quick as I clocked in before I went in to the main plant to go to work. I'd call my Mama. Well, one morning, it was a payphone, and I done him put my money in there. Mama hung up on me. When I said hello, Mama answered, but she hung up. And the operator said, she's hung up. I said, operator, I don't have no more money. I've done it, put my money in. I said, you sure did phone? She said, yeah. She said, I'll call her. She called Mama back for me, and I didn't have to pay for it. Mama answered the phone. I said, Mama, how come you to hang up? She said, I thought it was a prank. I said, well, don't do that of me of a morning. I said, I'm calling to see about you. And I told all the rest of them, Mama wouldn't live long because she'll say, your dad, I miss your dad. She wouldn't say John or nothing. She'd say, I miss your dad. And she lived right nearly exactly 2 years till she died. That's how, she come to y'all in Ohio. And we went to see her on Sunday, me and Ernest. And I remember what we carried her to eat. We got her a big hamburger, and it had onions on it. And I pulled the onions out. I was afraid Mom didn't have no teeth, and it's big round rings, that they sliced and put in. I took the onions out of the hamburger for her. I said, Mom, I'm afraid you get choked on this. You can't chew them. And she ate her hamburgers. Mama wrote me a letter, and she said, I'm coming home. I want to be home by March to put out my garden. And that's the last I heard from her. And just a day or two, Pauline called me, she's gone. My, though, you can go through everything and think. And cut the old buds off that's done in bloom, and then they'll put back out.
See you later.
See you later.
Love you.
I'm gonna stand right here. Bye.
Bye. We'll be fine.
Oh no. What are you doing, friendos? Oh, it's an accident.
I know.
Where was
The other
Ohio? Did we miss it?
I think so.
Man, I feel like this happened last time where this one didn't have it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this trip to Georgia with me. I hope you enjoyed my Aunt Mary's stories, and I hope that my butting in didn't, you know, detract too much from the whole experience. So thank you guys so much for always being supportive, and I hope you enjoyed this. So have an amazing day. Bye.